If you think one mistake can't ruin everything, you've never lived a lie with someone who looks at you like you're their whole world. Some mornings, I wake up and pretend I'm still the woman he thinks I am. The kind of woman who blushes when he kisses her forehead. Who hums while making coffee. Who would never destroy something so pure. But I'm not her. Not anymore. Because 3 weeks before our wedding, while standing on a hotel balcony in San Diego with a drink in my hand and 1,000 regrets in my chest, I made the one mistake I swore I never would. And I never told him. I wore my white dress. I said I do. I danced. I smiled. I married Ethan like nothing had happened. Like my heart hadn't fractured in a hotel bed next to a man I didn't even like. That was nearly 6 months ago. At first, I thought I'd buried it. That it would fade, like a dream I couldn't fully remember. But guilt doesn't fade. It festers. It seeps into the little things, like how I can't meet Ethan's eyes during dinner. Or how my chest tightens every time he says, "You okay?" And lately, he's different. He still kisses my forehead, still brings me coffee, still tells me he loves me, but there's a pause now. A delay. Like the words are stuck somewhere deeper than before. He's here, but he's not with me. At first, I blamed work. Stress. Fatigue. Anything but what I knew deep down to be true, he knows. He hasn't said it out loud. But I see it in his eyes when he thinks I'm not looking. I hear it in the way he breathes next to me at night, shallow, careful. Like he's lying next to someone who might shatter if he touches them the wrong way, and maybe I would. Maybe I deserve to. I've rehearsed how I'll confess. 100 different versions. Some tearful. Some honest. Some defensive. But I never say it. Because once it's out there, I can't take it back. So I live like this. In a quiet, suffocating silence, hoping he doesn't ask, and terrified that he will. Because I made a mistake. And now I'm married to the man I love, while drowning in the secret that might destroy him. Ethan and I have been together for 6 years. High school sweethearts. First kiss at a football game. First love. First everything. We were the couple everyone rooted for. Even when we went to separate colleges, even when I started traveling for work, everyone said, if anyone can make it, it's you too. And for a long time, I believed them. I work in corporate sales. Big accounts, lots of travel, too many fake smiles. It's exhausting. But Ethan always supported me. He'd pack me snacks. Hide little notes in my suitcase. He'd stay up just to say goodnight on FaceTime, even if I was in a different time zone. Then came the San Diego trip. It was supposed to be routine. A 3-day training, team dinner, maybe some drinks. We were 3 weeks out from the wedding. I was tired. Stressed. Trying to finalize guest lists between meetings and pick napkin colors during layovers. That's when Liam started hovering. He's the kind of guy who thrives on charm. Flirty, loud, always with a joke. I never took him seriously. Never wanted to. But that night, I was raw. Dinner ran long. The wine kept flowing. Everyone was laughing. Someone toasted to final flings before marriage and everyone hooted like it was funny. I forced a laugh. Pretended not to feel hollow. By the time the check came, most of the group had left in Ubers. Liam stayed. Said he'd walk me back to my room. Said I looked tired. Said I deserved one night where I wasn't planning a future or holding everything together. And I let him. The next morning, I woke up in a hotel bed that wasn't mine. Naked. Alone. Head pounding. My dress was crumpled on the floor. Liam was gone. And for a full minute, I couldn't breathe. The realization hit like a truck. I stumbled to the bathroom, looked in the mirror and didn't recognize myself. Then I threw up. Over and over, like my body was trying to reject what I had done. I cried. Then I swore I'd never tell a soul. It was a mistake, I told myself. I was drunk. It didn't mean anything. It doesn't have to mean anything. And 3 weeks later, I walked down the aisle. I looked Ethan in the eye. Said, "I do," with a smile I had practiced in the mirror. And told myself this was the real beginning. That whatever happened in San Diego, stayed there. God, I was so wrong. For a while, everything seemed fine. Too fine. Ethan was still gentle. Still attentive. Still Ethan. But something in him shifted. At first, I told myself it was just the post-wedding slump, everyone said it happens. That after the chaos and high of the big day, reality creeps in. Maybe we were just settling into routine again. But then the silence came. Not loud, slamming door silence. The kind that seeps into daily life. Quiet. Chilling. The space between questions that never get asked. He stopped teasing me. Stopped reaching for my hand when we passed each other in the hallway. Stopped asking what I was reading, even though my books always ended up on his nightstand. I'd catch him staring sometimes, just watching me like he was trying to remember something important, or forget it. And still, I said nothing. I told myself I was protecting him. That it was one mistake. One night. But one night is all it takes to rot everything. Then one afternoon, he came home from work and dropped his keys on the counter like always. He leaned in, kissed my forehead like always. Then said, calmly, "Did you enjoy San Diego?" I froze. My blood went cold. My stomach twisted. I managed a laugh that sounded like it belonged to someone else. Yeah. I mean, it was work. Not really fun. He tilted his head, eyes unreadable. Right. Just saw that Liam's engaged. The pictures were all over my feed. You were tagged in one of them. A beat. Didn't know you two were that close. My heart was beating so loud, I barely heard myself lie. Oh, we're not. I barely know him outside work. He nodded slowly. Held my gaze for a moment longer than he needed to. Then he kissed my forehead again. And walked away. Like it was nothing. But that silence. That one, merciless silence that followed. It split me open. I stood in the kitchen long after he left the room, staring at my reflection in the dark window, breathing like I was trying not to shatter. Later that night, I locked the bathroom door and turned on the shower so he wouldn't hear me cry. I sank to the floor, curled into myself, and sobbed. Not just out of guilt. Out of fear. Because I realized something terrifying, he wasn't going to scream. He wasn't going to confront me. He was going to let me drown in it. And somehow, that was worse. Ethan didn't leave. He didn't yell. He didn't accuse me of anything. Instead, he became a ghost. Still present in the house, but never really with me. He brought me coffee every morning, just like always. Texted me if I was out late, "You okay?" Told me "I love you" every night before bed. But his voice didn't carry warmth anymore. His touch felt like muscle memory, like he was going through the motions of a man who used to be in love. There was no more intimacy. No kisses that lingered. No soft laughter during dinner. No reaching for me beneath the covers. He slept beside me like a stranger, close enough to feel his breath, but a million miles away. It broke me in a way I didn't know I could break, so I did the one thing I thought might save me, I wrote it down. Every detail. That night. How drunk I was. How I felt numb, cornered by the pressure of being perfect, of getting married, of making everyone else happy. How Liam stayed behind. How I didn't say no. How I told myself afterward that it didn't mean anything. I filled 3 pages. Folded them. Put them in a drawer next to our wedding photo. And never gave them to him. Because I was still a coward. Even in my guilt, I was trying to manage the damage. I even called Liam. He picked up like nothing had happened. Said, "I figured you'd call eventually." I told him Ethan was acting strange. That I thought he knew. Liam sighed. Said, "Don't worry. I won't ruin your marriage. But if he knows, that's on you." I thanked him, even though the words tasted like bile. And then I sat alone in our kitchen, staring at my reflection in the microwave door, and asked myself a question I couldn't answer. Who am I? The woman I was before would never have cheated. She would have told the truth, no matter how ugly. She would have earned the love Ethan gave her. But that woman was gone. Replaced by someone I barely recognized. Someone who smiled through a lie every single day. And the worst part. I was starting to believe I didn't deserve to be forgiven. Not because of what I did. But because I kept pretending I hadn't done it at all. It happened on a Thursday night. Ethan had gone for a run. Said he needed air. I watched him lace his shoes in silence, like always, and leave without another word. Something inside me cracked open. The silence had become unbearable. The guilt was eating me alive. And for once, I just needed to know. I wasn't looking for evidence. Not really. I already knew he knew. But I needed to see it. Needed confirmation that I wasn't going crazy. That this distance wasn't just in my head. His laptop was sitting on the dining table. Open. I hesitated. My hands were shaking as I touched the trackpad. It wasn't even password protected. That felt worse somehow. Like he didn't care if I found what he left behind. I clicked into his notes app. I don't know why. Just instinct. And there it was. A folder called, "Things I'll Never Say." My breath caught. I opened the latest entry. It was dated 1 day after our wedding. My heart sank as I read, she was asleep. Her phone lit up. A message from Liam, "Glad we're cool. Can't believe that night happened." I opened it. Read everything. Every message. Every moment she tried to bury. I wanted to believe she was still the woman I knew. But I think she died in San Diego. Maybe if I say nothing, she'll eventually tell me. That's when I'll know if there's anything left worth saving. I clapped my hand over my mouth. Tried to stop the sob that tore out of my throat, but it was too late. Tears poured down my face as I sank to the floor, the laptop still open beside me. He knew. He had always known. And still, he married me. Still brought me coffee. Still kissed my forehead, held my hand, said, "I love you." But not because he forgave me. Because he was waiting. Waiting for me to be honest. To choose us. To prove I was still the woman he fell in love with. But I never did. Instead, I let him carry that weight alone, while I built a prison of silence and lies. And now I saw it clearly, the man I loved had been mourning me, while sleeping next to the body. A week later, I stopped pretending. No more justifying. No more hiding. No more waiting for him to say it first so I could fall apart second. I took the letter out from the drawer, the one I'd written months ago, the one I swore I'd never give him. I added one line at the bottom, "You deserve the truth. Even if it ends us." When he came home that evening, I was sitting at the kitchen table. He paused in the doorway, probably sensing something was different. I didn't waste time. I stood, walked over, and handed him the folded pages. He didn't say a word. Just took it. Sat on the edge of the couch. The room was silent except for the rustling of paper as he unfolded it. His eyes moved slowly across the page, and with every line he read, I could feel my chest tightening. When he finished, he didn't look at me right away. He stared down at the letter, like it might keep rewriting itself if he looked long enough. Then finally, his eyes met mine. But they weren't Ethan's eyes. Not the ones that lit up when I walked into a room. Not the ones that softened every time I laughed, or smiled when I spoke about something I loved. These eyes were quiet. Hollow. Done. He stood up without a word. Walked past me, down the hall. Opened the closet. I didn't follow. He packed slowly. Deliberately. Just a bag. A few shirts. Jeans. His toothbrush. He came back into the kitchen, slung the bag over his shoulder, and paused. I would have forgiven you, he said softly. If you had just told me the truth before the lies became our normal. And with that, he walked out. No door slam. No dramatic ending. Just silence. It's been 3 months. I haven't heard from him. No calls. No emails. No forwarding address. Sometimes I sit in the dark and reread that letter. Not the one I gave him. His. The journal entry. The part that haunts me most isn't the betrayal. It's that he still believed there was something left in me to save. And I didn't fight for it. I thought silence would protect him. But it only made the death slower. More cruel. So here's the truth I live with now: one mistake didn't ruin us. My fear of owning it did. And sometimes, the scariest thing a person can do isn't scream. It's walk away without needing to.